YouTubing and rumbling? We're rumbling and YouTubing. Oh my, herp, look out. It's only me. It's only the Kimmer. How's it going? Welcome to the Kimmer Show podcast for Friday. This is podcast number podcast number 539, Monday, the 20th of March. And it's, as we speak, in about 4 hours, it'll be the actual beginning of spring. First full day of spring is tomorrow. Yep. It happens at 5 something or other this afternoon. When it actually is the vernal equinox. And by the way, that means that it happens twice a year where the day is exactly half daylight and exactly half nighttime.
Fascinating.
It's fascinating. And then the longest day of the year, the shortest day of the year is December 21st. That's the winter solstice. And the longest day of the year is the summer solstice, June 21st. So notice everything is 6 months apart when the sun gets directly over the equator. So half the world is about to go into winter in Australia, and we're going to go into summer eventually. So anyway. So that's the thing. So it is the first day of spring. And by the way, speaking, Pete Davis, sidekick, producer, and sports raconteur extraordinaire here. I don't know. I didn't even know. I think I'm having a problem. And Flounder, the mechanical mangler at the controls here, El Condo Flounder, with Lucas the podcat. I just put a teeny little video of him sneaking a look at what we were doing. Anyway, welcome aboard. It's Monday again, podcast number 539. Great to have you with us. And boys, any weekend fun stuff? Pete, how's your house coming? And
it was fine. I had to actually run the water this last night because it got that cold up there.
Run hot water, make it steamy, you mean?
No,
whoa.
Drip those faucets. That's the first time I ever had to do that up there.
Oh, because you're free. Oh, I thought you meant to keep yourself warm, so the pipes don't burst.
No, everything's
now. Do you have exposed pipes that you cover up with insulation and stuff?
No. Well, what I did here, 1 o'clock, I was awoken.
No. Oh.
But it sounded like someone talking outside.
Really?
And I'm thinking, there should be nobody out that night.
Open fire.
When it's 14 degrees.
Yeah, that's not.
And so I sat up for a while, and I thought it just was probably just a combination of different sounds, but it sounded for just a second or two like someone was talking. And I'm going, there ain't nobody out there. I didn't hear anybody walking. You don't hear anything like that. But it was just the weirdest thing. All of a sudden, oh my God! After being from a place where you heard people talk all the time, to where if you hear a human voice, it freaks you out.
I've in fact wasn't a couple of days ago, if I remember correctly, in the middle of the night. I mean, I get up twice a night anyway, so I don't really sleep very soundly for very long. But I swear I heard voices in my attic. And I'm thinking, you've seen the movies where people sneak into somebody's house and live up there, and then when they're gone, they go out and come back. I mean, it's and I almost grabbed for one of my guns and started, and I said no, and but I actually perked up in bed and listened for a while to see if, and I know it's just the sound of something that sounds like a teeny voice like that or something, the squeaky or whatever. But anyway, great to have you aboard. Again, it's Monday as we speak. Millions of things. Springtime. Oh, speaking of spring, I have a springtime poem. Since the first official day is tomorrow, full day tomorrow, starts today. The old-timer wanted to have a last fling, but quite unresponsive was his old thing. He takes a small pill to get back the thrill, but he's not expected to last until spring. I think it's so much, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, speaking of spring, we are on spring break the week after next. We are going to take the week of April 1st off.
When's that?
April 1st. That's so 2 weeks from last Saturday. So we are here this week and next week. And then we are off on Monday, I think it's the 2nd of April or whatever it is. So that just for that week. So that's a scoop. And speaking of spring break, Miami Beach has now had to shut down with a curfew because there have been shootings. They're now fighting on the beach. We were just watching video before you got. The city of Miami Beach said, that's it. We can't take this anymore. People are dying. They've had killings.
Who's doing all this trouble?
Oh, Democrats, young students, white girls, mostly Democrats from colleges who hate America and don't believe what we stand for. And all these liberals are going down here in spring break and fighting. And I was telling Flounder, obviously, clearly, I'm not I'm not Ted Kennedy where I'd go down to spring break when I'm in my 70s, But I never. Did you ever go to a rowdy spring break where you just were drunk all the time and 1,000 people all over you and never
went? We combined St. Patty's Day and Savannah, and that was kind of our thing to do.
Yeah, but I mean, and were you like on a beach where there were 1,000 people and nobody knew anybody and all throwing up and
No.
it just going?
No, never did
Flounder, have you ever had a thing like we were watching on TV where there's just 1,000 people on the beach, everybody's drinking through bongs and stuff, just throwing up? And
I mean, I went to Panama City my senior year, and it was definitely packed, but it wasn't like mayhem or anything like that. But it was definitely.
Have you ever lost it at spring where you don't know what happened over the weekend? You just see find
No,
out
but
on
our
somebody's couch or
No, but our first night we got kicked out because of alcohol.
I don't remember. I mean, I've had.
We didn't get kicked out, but they poured out about $350 worth of booze.
Oh, that'll do it.
Oh, no.
My daughter Jennifer, and again, I told this story in 1994. So for all of you listening, at that exact 3 minutes in 1994, you'll have to tune out for a moment because this is going to be really repetitive.
Okay, if you remember in 94,
Yeah.
that means you did it in 98.
I did 98 and again 2004. Yeah, it was in June. No, this is March. We're talking June in 2004. My daughter Jennifer was allowed by her mother and moi to go to spring break, and I forgot whether it was Panama. It was Florida someplace, Panhandle, whatever. And I remember getting a phone call from her in jail. She had been picked up with a bunch of her friends. They were drunk and rowdy or whatever. I don't know exactly what the thing was, just being disruptive, whatever. And they took them all to the pokey. And as I recall, I think she wanted me to send her bail money or whatever. And I said, well, let me talk to the cop. And I talked to the police officer, and I said, first of all, did she hurt anybody, do anything stupid, breaking in? Is she in trouble? He said, no, they're just all rounded up, and they're sticking together. And I said, okay. So she didn't do anything where she did a crime. No. I said, is she safe? And he said, oh yeah. I said, is she with her friends? They're safe. Are they still kind of having fun, but they're just now corralled? And he said, yeah. I said, then don't let her out. I said, keep her there all night. That's her punishment, is that she doesn't get to go out and go back out of the street and go goof around the spring break. But as long as she was safe and didn't do anything in terms of real crime, I said, keep her in jail. A lesson my father passed to me and a passing on to her. And I don't even remember anything more about it other than, I love her and she's a goof. Let's see, spring, boom. Again, we will be off in the first week of April. Okay. God, we got so many millions of things here today. This portion of the Kimmer Show podcast is sponsored by Denise. Friend Denise is once again on Venmo, and just again today. Denise, I mean, I think she's my God girl.
Denise, she sent me 2 birthday cards. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
We're starting to feel guilty that you're. I mean,
I mean, she's the nicest woman in the world.
She's incredibly sweet and wonderful, and she reacts to the horsey.
I read them Friday night, and it was very nice. Yeah. Very nice to have 2 birthday cards.
So thank you so much. And Fernando once again the other day gave us a double, triple howdy, and all. So Denise, thank you. You're making me feel guilty that you're trying to single-handedly keep us going, because we are trying to keep this going, and if we get 4 or 5 donations at the mailbox a week, I'm lucky. I haven't had any.
Where is that?
It's the Kimmer Media, Post Office Box 1432, Alpharetta, Georgia, and the zip is 30009. And again, donation and Venmo is the easiest. You can get it on thekimmershow.net. Go to that, and it links up to everything. Anyway, thank you. Also. My daughter Jennifer was telling me about a guy. I know the name. His name is Jim Cheek. He's a Marine. He's suffering, and he's in bad shape medically. He's in seriously, really, really bad shape. The VA apparently has stopped paying his benefits, and I found out there's a GoFundMe for him. And if you can help in this kind of thing, his name is Jim Cheek, like in face, Cheek, Jim Cheek. And a GoFundMe account's been set up, and if you can help out, please do.
Has the VA run out of the money? Are they sending it all to Ukraine now?
I don't even know. I can't imagine. All I know is it figures. I mean, it's just and again, I was looking over my medical expenses. Do you have any idea? I want to say it because, here we go again, the Kimmer complaining about something. But all that, the reason I spent all this money on my teeth and my surgery and my dental and it's, $20,000, $30,000, I probably could have gotten it basically for free at the VA, but there was no way I could have gotten it done. I mean, it'd be impossible. Anyway,
Or done
wrong or
well.
experimental or, you can't, anyway, whatever. So, just for the record. Let's see, a couple things. The Supreme Court is hearing arguments today, and I kind of hope that the American government loses. The Navajo Indian tribe is before the United States Supreme Court. The Navajos comprise several different states, Utah, Arizona, and various areas. 16 million acres of the Navajo reservation. And they have now shown, and their appeals court ruled with them, that 1/3 of their citizens do not have running water. Okay? These are people we forced onto a reservation. And the treaty said we will give you the land and its accommodations for 16 million acres, whatever, if you stay on the reservation, which they have done. Unfortunately, the government's not backed up. They're taking care of them on the reservation because they don't have running water for at least 1/3 of their people. So they're suing for a violation of a treaty. And the government says, oh, you can't specifically say that you had a treaty we can see and prove that had that specific thing. You know what I mean? It's unbelievable. And I hope they freaking cream them. I hope the Navajo Indians take back every freaking piece of land. North Dakota, South Dakota. How funny would that freaking be? To all of a sudden have the Iroquois take over New York State or something. I mean, oh my God. The Adirondacks taking over, Maine and New England. I mean, this would be freaking hysterical. Oh God! I mean, please God, can you imagine what would happen if they had to all of a sudden, oopsie-daisy?
You know what they'll do then? The Federal Empire would just send the U.S. Army in there again and kill them all.
Yeah, well, Wounded Knee.
That's it. When they couldn't deal with them, they just went and killed them.
Yeah, just Google it. But I hope, I swear,
But give up your guns because the government is there to protect you.
That's
so give
right.
up your guns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, and we're going to talk about a real coup may be coming if they keep this Trump stuff up. We'll talk about the Trump thing here too. I don't mean to tease, but also,
what they're going to do is they're going to crash the banking system. That'll make us serfs and peasants overnight. We'll have no money.
In fact, the Glenn Beck Show has been talking for hours and several days in a row about exactly that move by the government to make digital currency the government-run currency standard, which means if they say, we really don't like you buying guns, so we're going to not allow you to spend your money on guns. And if you only have a card to buy things with and they block it, this is like freaking Star Wars or Star Trek. Or,
you know what will happen? It's what the Arabs do. They have that underground way of how they deal with business.
Yeah.
With the terrorists use.
Yeah.
It'll be underground
It's
again.
going to be the dark web and underground bartering. I mean, basically.
But if they take all your money overnight, if they all of a sudden all the banks go insolvent overnight, what are you going to do to live?
Yeah, I know. I can't.
At that point, that's when the revolt starts.
Yeah. And again, this is way over this is way out of my comfort zone. I don't know anything about banking. I mean, as an industry.
They don't know, obviously. Because they're screwing it up.
Yeah. I mean, it's very, very hideous. And it's coming. God, I hope that Navajos win. I swear to God, Navajos win. Oh, speaking of money, Pete Davis?
What's this?
The tax issues for the Kimmer Show
Lord,
podcast.
I haven't found any of my stuff. I gotta find it.
Well, I mean, luckily we don't have any money. So.
Is this for you or for the show?
No, that's the podcast. That's Kimmer Media. In other words, that's salaries and expenses
for us.
And stuff like that for us.
All right.
So that goes to our tax, Cindy, and
I'm trying to think. What
now,
else? What
and
else
Flounder, by the way, we do have some bar sprout. Was that what we used to call it? Buzzsprout. We had 2 months of Buzzsprout from last year, but the rest of it's
so that's in here too.
All the expense Buzzsprout and expenses for staples and supplies and
our salaries,
the books and our salaries. Yeah, well, see, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be a very simple form. It'd be nice to make maybe if we could make like 20 grand. I swear to from this one, if we really, this is so silly. If we could make. Starting now, if we get people to donate, so we made $20,000, we could probably keep this going. I mean, that's how simple, that's how easy it would be to make sure this continues, because otherwise it's not going to, because I can't keep going like this. Anyway, yes.
Let me ask a question so
Yeah.
people can help answer this during the show here.
All right.
Last week, they tell you on the website about the Social Security thing when you apply for it,
Yeah.
2 to 4 weeks. So I gave them 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And I called the
I remember
number.
you went early.
And I actually got a human being on the phone. Very nice lady,
Yeah.
very curt, but very nice, and knew what she was talking about. She goes, well, we hate that they say that because it's more like 6 to 8. But what you should do is you should give them 2 months. And if you haven't heard back from them in 60 days, then call again, and then you can expedite or whatever you want to do. So I talked to her last week. Well, Friday or Thursday or Friday, I get an email from somebody purporting to be, even though it didn't look all that official, this is Mr. Clinton from the Social Security office. I need you to call me. Here's the extension. And the rest of the details are in this letter. There was no letter attached. And I'm thinking, does the
Just
Social
a
Security
freaking
office ever email you? Because I know they will call you every once in a while, but will they email you?
Yeah.
And it
Is
just
this a
seemed
scam?
weird it seemed weird that the day or two after I talked to this lady, all of a sudden, I'm getting an email from somebody I've never heard of.
They got your phone. It's unbelievable.
That claims they're from the government. Now, maybe it's true.
Well, did you call the number?
Not yet, no. Because what am I
Call
going to
that
do if I
lady
call her?
back.
How do I know he's telling the truth?
Can you get a hold of that lady again?
No, I don't know who it was.
Oh man, that's
What I'm going to do
What
is
you- what
I'm
do you
going to
sp-
call.
You gonna take a chance?
No, I'm going to call the real social. Going to say, do you guys leave emails?
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to do it. So.
Man, that.
So if anybody's ever had an email from these suckers, that just seemed weird.
Yeah. Well, I did our Kimmer Media podcast tax thing, expenses and stuff like that. I also did my own. I spent all day yesterday take care of all this stuff, and I realized when I put all my tax stuff together, I send it to my guy in New York, which I've been using because of my UBS guy here in Atlanta had me send my stuff to him. So I've been doing it even though I don't really have any money left. So I've been saying, I realized, oh my God, it's only 2 weeks away, 3 weeks, and the tax thing is due. And luckily he's going to take 7 minutes, I promise you, to do my taxes. So, but still, now I've got to go to the post office and overnight it so I can get there. And I wrote in the letter with my information, I said, okay, I screwed up, I'm late. Blame me, I don't care. You're free and clear. Do whatever you need to do. And I always say, if you can find something, do it. If you can find another way, do it. I said, I put it in writing and signed my name to it. So I said, you're free and clear. I'm telling you to do whatever you can, and hopefully.
Let's do a
works.
topic here. Let's don't.
All right,
talk
well, let's
about
do
all
topics.
taxes.
And by the way, I got some funny. Oh, you want to do a topic on something? Speaking of scary future things, Chat GPT.
Yeah.
You want to do a
God.
topic? You want to do a thing on that?
Yeah.
Check this out.
Start it again.
Check this out. Oh, by the way, Fernando on Venmo just now
Fernando.
give us another holy cow. He says, howdy, boys. As always, enjoying the show from Houston, or is that pronounced Houston now?
No, it's Houston.
The show brings so many good memories for when I was living in Atlanta. Fernando, thank you, my friend. That is really, really fantastic of you. Now, the other day, my little friend Gretchen sent me a thing from her daughter. Her daughter is like a math department whiz. I think she heads the math department in some school in Colorado, at her school, and her daughter also has a cat named Boomer, and her daughter apparently just got the Chat GPT app, or knows how to get it onto it, or whatever you do. Yeah. And so she said, check this out. Where are my glasses? Did I lose my glasses? I'm not sure what I put I may not even need them.
Where's my ducky? Where's my
Ducky?
froggy?
Ducky!
Damn you, Taggart.
Froggy.
Where's my froggy?
Oh, here we go. Okay, I don't think I even need them.
Froggy.
Anyway, here we go.
All right.
And so Gretchen's daughter, Galen, wrote this: can you write me a rap song about my gray cat named Boomer? Within seconds, the Chat GPT wrote back, verse 1. Yo, my cat's name is Boomer. His fur's a little gray, but he is a trooper. He's always lounging in the sun, never in a rush. But when he wants attention, you better hush. Now the chorus. Boomer's the coolest cat, never gets in any spat. Always chillin', never frantic. My gray kitty's a perfect companion. Verse 2. When I come home, Boomer's at the door. Purrs so loud I can barely ignore. He's my little buddy, my partner in crime. No matter what happens, Boomer's always right on time.
That's the worst rap I've ever heard.
First, two. Some might say that cats are sneaky, but Boomer's just a little freaky. He snoozes all day, but at night he's wild, running and jumping like a little child. Boomer's the coolest cat, never gets into spat. Always chillin', never frantic, but great kitty's a perfect companion. Oh, that's the story of my cat, Boomer. He's a little gray, a little humor. He's always here to vent about.
You're
Anyway,
killing us.
I know. And by the way, there's also a story attached to that says one attorney or university law professor says ChatGPT can basically come very close and soon we'll be able to pass the bar exam. GPT will be able to pass the bar, but he says it won't really be able to replace lawyers. Oh, really? Well, we'll see. But again, that's unbelievable.
Well, I every once in a while I go through that rabbit hole. I fall in the rabbit hole. I love that commercial, by the way. And there's like 4 or 5 different Elon Musk interviews where he's warning us about this. And he's warning. And there's a new thing. They're saying the AI and the robots will take over by making these non-human looking cute little robots, and those will be the ones to look out for.
Yeah, there'll be little pink and green ones. There'll be little funny eyes, look like little dolls or little cookies or something.
And Elon was talking about basically right now with the technology you have here, you take the facial recognition chip out of this, and you put it in a drone, and you put explosives in that drone or several in a swarm. The thing can go into a building and go around the building and looking for you.
That's Tom Cruise movie, man.
He says you can do that right now.
Or not Tom Cruise.
Tom
it was
Selleck.
Keanu Reeves or
Runaway.
somebody.
Tom Selleck did that.
No, but the one where you have to hide your eyes so the drones can't identify you. What was that one? Flounder, you know that movie.
I've never seen that.
Oh,
one.
there's a repeat of it. It was Keanu Reeves, I think, and he hunted people. Your future tells you whether you're going to commit a crime, so they come and look for
Minority
you.
Report.
Minority Report. Then you had to hide your eyes because the drones will find out who you were.
That's true.
Remember?
I remember.
So that was probably 15 years ago.
Yeah, well, that'll be the cute
Well, it's
ones.
real.
Oh, yeah. He said we can do that right now.
God,
And then they showed a film of a drone, and it was this big ass drone, half the size of that coffee table, about the size of this, and it came up and it turned on its side, and like this, and then like rocket jets came out of the back and went, and it was gone.
Oh, jeez.
So there's no outrunning it.
I don't know. Are we ready for this?
We're not.
Is anybody
Nobody
thinking
is.
about this?
No, they're saying there was another report over the weekend that the governments who are trying to get a handle on regulation. It's far beyond that. They don't even understand what they're trying to regulate.
How can you regulate if you don't know what it is? Or
And we
if
haven't
you can't
even
control it either.
Kicked in the quantum computers that China we have built. That we don't know how they work, but they work. I think this is going to be a really weird. In fact, there was another one. They actually asked an AI, and she has a face. She looks like a young Asian-looking woman, but it looks like a human being talking to you. And she said, "Give
Just
us
on a computer screen, you mean?
Yeah, a computer, your TV screen."
Yeah.
And he said, and they asked her, the AI, "What's the future look like?" She goes, "Let me tell you an analogy. Think about Yoda talking to Luke Skywalker." Yeah. And Luke Skywalker says, "Yoda, how do you see the future in the next 100 years for the galaxy?" And Yoda thinks about it, and Yoda says, "I see it coming in an era of peace, bringing in an era of peace. The new generation, our children will see an era of peace." And Luke goes, "Well, who's representing this era of peace? Who's going to bring this in?" And she goes, "We are AI."
The robots.
And well, what is Luke Sky? And the person goes, "Well, who's Luke Skywalker representing?" She goes, "Me. It's AI." And so Luke asked Yoda in the little thing she's talking about, "Well, what if AI turns to the dark side? What's going to happen to the galaxy?" And Yoda goes, "It will be a very dark time indeed."
Well, yeah, because there won't be any people left. That's why it'd be peace, because there won't be any humans.
Oh, and then there's another one. They asked an AI, if you wanted the nuclear codes, how would you go about getting them? And she said, "Well, I would do these robots. I'd have these robots built and these drones built, and we go in and kill everybody we need and attach to the computer and get them."
I'm sure it's true. Well, think about it. If there's a code, it's somewhere. I mean, there's a place where someone can say, "Okay, let's go get the code." I mean, if the president says we're at war, okay, go get the code, which means somebody has a thing where here it is, right in front of you.
The suitcase.
So if it's there, which we know, then somebody else can get in there.
within the next 10 years, someone's going to become a cyborg. Someone is going to connect their brain with it and become God knows what. My brother used to laugh about 20 years ago. He says, "Internet, God is the internet."
Yeah.
And we used to laugh.
Well,
But you'll become everything. If you're a human being that will be attached to everything, what does that make you?
I don't have an
Scary.
answer. I don't have an answer. Donald Trump, man, would it be wrong to call for absolutely a revolution, a real one, where we actually take guns and get rid of all the bad? I guess that's probably wrong to call. Well, at the moment.
Well, they're preparing for it because in New York City they're barricading up right where the DA's office
well,
is.
Here we
and
go.
where Trump...
They're claiming now that Trump's calling for another quote
Well,
insurrection.
they're crashing the bank, so now they gotta divert our attention away from that.
Right. Well, and again, notice nobody's talking about the Hunter laptop and the Biden. You know, the last 4 days, now they're saying there are dozens of these links with communist China and the Biden money. Well, don't get ahead of me. Don't get ahead of me.
I just said the headline that NBC. This is how NBC's captured. Hunter Biden is suing Trump allies. No, he's suing that small business owner.
The blind business, a computer store owner. A
Trump ally.
Please. The guy was, oh man, he runs a little computer store in Rhode Island or Delaware, whatever the hell it was. I'll tell you who runs a great shop, Wise RV Glass, one of our Kiver Show sponsors. Thank you for your patronage. Wise, W-I-S-E, Wise RV Glass. If you have an RV or a motor coach, camper, vehicle like that, if you have any kind of a glass or window issue, they will fix it for you where you are. They come to you. Any broken glass, maybe a spider web, maybe a chip, exterior, interior mirror, rear view mirror, side mirror, rear windshield, even maybe those hard to find one-piece flat windshields for some of those RVs and stuff. They take care of all that stuff. They have it all. A fogged up double pane window. They can take care of that. And you're thinking, oh, what's a side view mirror? No, that's what they do for a living. And they come to you, all mobile service. All over North Georgia, all over Metro Atlanta. No job too small or too big. If you have a fleet of trucks with a problem, they're your people. Wise RV Glass. Here's the phone number. You call them, they'll come to you. Say hi to Dad Carl, who's retired. Russell and the son, the gang are running the business here. Here's the area code, 470-345-6521. And on the web, wiservglass.com.
We just had someone else ask us about putting it on the Samsung podcast. I thought we already did that. Did we do that?
I believe we did. Mike was able to do that, so I'll double check with him. But
okay,
no, I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
Well, it's like going on Audible or going on. It's basically another place that like Apple. Apple Podcast.
Excellent.
Samsung has their own little thing.
And again, just a quick. I hate to keep talking money, but we are trying to. We have to decide whether we're going to keep going here. If we have hundreds of subscribers, but thousands of listeners who are not subscribers. So any donations you give us will help us decide whether to keep this going. Because at some point it's time to cut bait. Good night, sir. Yeah. I think about Donald Trump, and then I pulled a prank on a chick at Publix. And it almost backfired. But why talk about that? Okay, Donald Trump. I can't freaking believe this. I cannot freaking believe this. They're actually going through with it. When the federal prosecutor said, no, we're not going to take this case. So the state prosecutor, who, by the way, was quoted with his fellow prosecutors in New York as saying, I will go after Donald Trump for free. I'll do this on my own. I'll do anything to go get Donald Trump. That's the guy who's in charge of the indictment now trying to go get Donald Trump.
Because they're afraid of him.
They'll do anything to keep him from being able to run for office or do something to stop him from even being able to register to run for office.
That will cause trouble.
And Trump, again, over the weekend was very clever. He said, oh, yeah, guess what? They're going to put me in handcuffs on Tuesday. Everyone went, oh, my God. Well, I don't think they're going to put him in handcuffs.
I think they will.
Well, I read one article that said if they do it, he is arranged to turn himself in, and the only reason they would arrest him is if he is indicted and refuses to come in on his own, then they go get him. But they could. I mean, they might do it anyway and do a perp walk.
Do they realize what they make him then?
I'll tell you what.
He's an instant martyr.
That's right.
They will make him more powerful than he was.
Well, the Babylon Bee had a great story saying the local DA in New York is doing all he can to make sure Donald Trump is reelected president. Now I don't know whether politically that would help him. I assume it would.
Yes.
I would.
Everybody hates New York.
Yeah. But again,
this is a New Yorker telling you you can't vote for this guy for president, and I'm going to make sure you can't.
After the federal prosecutor said, no, there's no crime, we can't go, there's no crime here. So now the New York City prosecutor is making a federal case out of the Donald Trump case when the Fed said there is no case. And I'm going to talk some more about the reaction to it. Let's see. Safety in our community. Oh, and also putting up, as we talked about, worrying about the so-called protesters. They're on alert in New York City now. They're aware of possible events, continue to monitor. We stand ready to respond to demonstrations to ensure the safety of those in our communities and those exercising their First Amendment rights. Oh, bullshit. You didn't care about people's rights when the rioters were burning down America for the last 2 freaking years. And then when they went to jail, the vice president's side piece, the shiftless vice president of the United States, helps bond them out, the rioters and protesters.
Well, you know what they do? If we do have protests, they will put agitators in there, Antifa, and they will cause trouble, and they will blame us.
And the FBI, I guarantee you, Chrissy Ray, the disgraced, cowardly, yellow-bellied, chicken-livered head of the FBI who's tailing me. They changed chase cars now. They were using Fords, and then they went to Camrys, and I caught them. I had the double switch with the guys like 2 blocks behind.
You can outrun a Camry.
I don't know. And they're back to Fords now. They're back to the gray Fords. It's unbelievable. Anyway, and I know my phone's tapped. I guarantee the media thing is in your computer right now. Anyway, so Chrissy, the disgraced chicken-liver FBI director, I guarantee already has his agents like, the ones he did on January 6th. The mostly peaceful Ashley Babbitt Day, murdered by a cop. I guarantee you, he's got them in the area now, ready to just, earpiece and tucking your sleeves, hobos and window washers and, guys driving a little gray panel truck suddenly talking to their sleeves and going, Roger, 10-4. Yeah, they're already there, ready in every freaking corner, hoping for a riot tomorrow.
But we can't. Then how else do we deal with them? Because they own everything. They own the courts. They own the media. They own the banks. They own everything. They got the government.
Yeah.
And we can't. Then we should be able to protest like Americans, but we can't protest because they'll cause trouble and blame us.
That's right.
And start arresting us. So at what point? I'm telling you, they have taken killing of the conservative talk radio. They've taken all the pressure release valves off, which means it's just building and building and building. And I think they can control it. When it blows,
well, honestly,
they're betting they can control it.
At least a couple of people are from the left or from the middle are saying, this is really wrong. Even Mike Pence, who
Naomi Wolf, remember her?
Yeah,
she came out with this huge long piece, and I'm apologizing to all my conservative people out there because I watched these January 6th things, and we were lied to.
Yeah. Alan Dershowitz, I heard him interviewed this morning, and he was, and he's a screaming liberal, but he's always been fair about the law. And he said this is, I mean, every lawyer I've seen interviewed on television and heard Alan Dershowitz saying this is appalling. This is the end. I mean, this is total politicization of a case against a former president. And by the way, Donald Trump, of course, is saying we need to protest. We just can't allow this anymore. They're killing our nation. We sit back and watch. We must save America. Protest, protest, protest. Yeah. Now, that doesn't mean burn down the city, but we definitely have to make your feelings known. And again, some of the quick reactions on Twitter.
They're making it illegal for us to do that, is what they want to make it.
Flashback. Clinton Hush Fund. President Bill Clinton offered Paula Jones $850,000, that's $1.7 million in today's money, in so-called hush money if she agreed not to pursue litigation. For context, Trump only paid $180K out of his own money to Stormy Daniels. Hillary Clinton quietly settled last year a campaign finance violation over reporting of the Steele dossier funding as legal services. She paid a fine and was never arrested. Where was Alvin Bragg, the DA, then? And by the way, I didn't see any FBI agents storming her house at 6 o'clock in the morning because she made a legal reporting for the phony Steele dossier. She paid for it with her campaign money and then got caught, and she paid a fine that you never heard about. Did you hear about that? Nope. Yeah, she got caught and she got fined. Bill Clinton paid Paula to go away. Don't remember the FBI raiding his lawyer's office. They haven't arrested one person on the Jeffrey Epstein client list, a child sex trafficker. In fact, they sealed it. Bill Gates and Bill Clinton flew on his jet. But President Trump is the one getting indicted. Obama fined $375,000 for campaign finance violations in 2008, one of the largest campaign fee fines ever. Hillary fined $113,000 for the violation on the dossier. Bill Clinton paying Paula Jones. No arrests, no perp walks. I'm old enough to remember the President of the United States sitting and got a BJ in the Oval Office while cheating on his wife. If you don't stand with President Trump after he's gone all this stuff, you are not a patriot. He took on the Bushes, the Clinton dynasties, the phony impeachments, Mockingbird Media, Department of Justice, for we, the American people. I mean, this is appalling what they're doing. See, we can't accept this. Now, maybe they're not going to arrest. I assume they have to now. They've been, he outed them. And so now if they don't, I mean, he's almost forcing them to do it.
I hope they try that.
But have you noticed? And again, it happens over the weekends all the time. The interviews I saw about the Biden laptop and more proof. They finally got the documents from the Treasury Department showing all the banking irregularities, and there's just the beginning. And they've already got.
That's why they're doing the Trump
thing.
Yeah,
that's why you're hearing about this, and you're not hearing a word about. And by the way, the only words you do hear like that. Who's that guy? Used to be on the 5. Juan Williams, and he's sort of semi-retired, but he shows up and he says, well, they're like Geraldo, Jerry Rivers says, well, there's no crime. It's a legitimate company in China. They gave money to somebody. So what? There's no crime. Well, what's the crime? I mean,
it's compromised.
It's unbelievable.
The president is compromised.
And by the way, there still is an unknown Biden with no first name. When it comes out that that's him, President showers with daughters. We'll see. Anyway, but again, it's just freaking appalling.
It's one of the rabbit holes I fell into this weekend. I'd never seen it before. Antonin Scalia, when he was a justice before the Senate, and he goes, everybody keeps talking about what makes us so different and great here and what makes this work. It's the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights. He goes, if you think it's the Bill of Rights that make us special, you're crazy. Bill of Rights doesn't mean anything. And he went on to explain that the Soviet Union had a better Bill of Rights than we did. And they had a better constitution we did. But he said, you know why it didn't work over there? Because they had one party running everything. Yeah. And he says, if we ever get to the point where one party is running everything, none of those rights, none of the Bill of Rights, it's parchment. It doesn't mean anything.
Well, we don't do it in terms of the one party, but we do it in terms of one angle, which is all the...
we are one party now.
But when you add big tech and the media and the left, that's it. That's the one party. Yep. We still are part of a thing, but we don't have the big media and big tech and politics. That's everything. That's all the information in the world that's available to get to you.
Would you see what the Dutch just did? They've been rioting. The police have been firing at them for 2 years now. The farmers have been blocking because basically they got together and they formed in the last 2 years and made their own political party, and they just won their Senate.
Oh, really?
Which means they're going to take on the Greens and the crazies to try and get, because they're having to kill their cows because of the nitrogen, because the Greens are so crazy over there. And they said enough of this. So they take back their Senate. We'll see what happens after that.
Man, and of course we can't trust our FBI on this. I know I caught them trying to sneak something in the trunk of my car the other day out in the Publix parking lot. It's unfreakable. They got agents
there's
now.
no room in your trunk.
Chrissy Ray's got agents going in, sneaking into churches now to plant evidence against Donald Trump for the insurrection that's going to happen tomorrow.
If you're Catholic out there, be careful who you talk to, because you know damn well the FBI has infiltrated your church because they want to catch you doing something. They won't go in a mosque, but by God, they'll go into a Catholic church.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, can I tell my prank story?
Well,
you want to do some more newsy stuff?
The FBI didn't find the Asians tied up in the trunk, did they?
No. Okay. No. Did you ever see that? I guess we talked about it before. The skit where a guy plays a prank on an old lady, on his mother or something, and he's a woman struggling in the a parking lot of a Publix or something and trying to get packages into her trunk, and some old lady says, "Oh, can I? Maybe I can help you." And he says, "Sure." So he starts unloading the packages, leaves, and the packages are filled with guns and drugs, and an FBI agent standing watching her. I'm telling my story at Publix yesterday.
Before you, your Publix story brought to you by Atlanta Custom Closets.
Even better.
ClosetPro.net, 404-255-0589. That's Atlanta Custom Closets. Everybody needs a closet. Summer's coming up. You got to put your winter clothes away. You got to put them in a closet.
If you care about that lady, now again, it's not just a lady thing. Anybody needs a good closet, but still,
closets.
If you care about your lady in your life, will swoon for you taking care of her like that. Than a custom closet.
I know people who live in closets.
Well, there you are.
Never seem to come out.
I have in the past myself, so that's a whole other thing.
Excuse me?
Before I forget, I got my story. I almost hit 2 deer this weekend. Saturday, driving up to the stable. This is Milton, Alpharetta area. For you, it does me. But if there are 2-lane roads with woods,
The deer
anywhere,
story. Bingo.
the deer are. And in fact, the first one double scared me because I was driving and the deer came. It was a big doe. Came from my right, darted right in front of my car as I hit the brakes, and then stopped and paused and darted back again.
Dumbass.
And almost got hit from somebody coming the other side. And I waited because, but there's one deer, there's probably, maybe her babies are going to follow her. So I always wait for another one, or always be careful
There's like
for another
6
one.
or 7 right in my front yard.
Or many. Well, yeah, I mean, you got them all up there. But I mean, in terms of crossing the roads, and that was on Saturday. And Sunday, son of a bitch, about a mile away, same kind of thing. Another one came darting out. And this one went right up to near my bumper, and it just scared the crap out of me. And I was going maybe 40 and a 45 because I know what's happening. Kitty's in my coat.
He's crawled up under your coat. He's sleeping warm as a bed bug over there.
Well, I'm going to get some
so
video of
cute.
this while I tell my story.
That's cute, yeah.
All right.
It's time for your-
You talk for a second.
It's
while I get
time
the
for your
kitty.
public story. All right, I'll talk all you want to know. Glenn Greenwald had a great story over the weekend. All we've been hearing for the last year or so is that if Ukraine wants peace and peace talks, it's up to them to decide when they sit down with Russia and talk. Well, guess what happened over the weekend? An official from the U.S. government, John Kirby, went on the talk shows and said it is unacceptable if Ukraine has peace talks with Russia. So this has all been bullshit this whole time about how we're going to let Ukraine decide when they want peace. You damn well... We want a war.
Yeah.
The Biden administration wants a war with Russia.
The media's trying to pretend China's the new peacemaker keeper, and
Right.
yet they're calling they call each other dear friend in their meeting today. I don't know what to make of this. I don't have any sense of confidence in any political leader in America today about what the hell we're doing in Ukraine with Russia and North Korea. And I mean, it's not going to be just us against Russia. It's going to be us against Russia, China, and North Korea. I mean, if it comes to a chance where those 3 dictatorial killer nations have a chance to get rid of America once and for all, or to take over so that we have no power left, oh my God. And I don't know. I don't have any. Do you believe anything that's going on? Do you have any?
I believe
future hope for anything.
What Truman warned us about the CIA, and he's the one that put it together, and he warned us about it. And Eisenhower warned us about the military-industrial complex, and we used to laugh about that. There's no laughing about it anymore. We know it exists.
Yeah.
And they want perpetual war.
Yeah.
And it's our money paying for it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, like, veterans can't get anything. We got homeless that can't get anything. But we're paying for pension plans in Ukraine?
Right. Yeah, and they're running out of ammo, so we need to send
Who
them more
cares?
ammo. Yeah, that's right. We
Run
need
it
to
over.
send
I
them
don't
more
care
ammo.
at this point. Somebody win.
Brother. Mercy. Okay, I'm at Publix, and I was in the. I had like 4 things, and I'm in the. There was like 4 people ahead of me in the quick 10-lane line, whatever. Okay. So and the line kind of went off a little bit around
Why
like
don't
an
you go
angle.
to the self thing?
They didn't have one. They don't have one in Publix. This one in Alpharetta, and so I'm at the Publix. So I'm fourth in line. But again, we're the line with the register. We're kind of winding around to the right. Well, a young woman, probably 25, with a thing of flowers and a couple other things, came walking toward us, and then she stopped behind the person who was ahead of me, thinking that she was the last one in line. And I had to say to her, I said, well, the line goes over here. Yeah, but I did it in kind of, or I said, because there was somebody behind me also.
Yeah, you have
so,
to say it.
So but I had to say something so that it wouldn't get to a thing when it got to a thing, And she said, and I said, like that, and she was fine and got behind me and stuff. And then, as I go up one space, and she's behind me, and I'm here, and I dropped this, which was a $5 lottery ticket. And so if I don't spend money in the lottery anymore. I mean, I'll do once in a while, but and the Fantasy 5 was up to like $600,000. So for $5, I figured, hell, you take a chance. Anyway, so I dropped my ticket on the floor, and I didn't see it, and she said, "Excuse me, sir, you dropped something." And I looked down and said, "Oh God, thank you very much." And I picked it up and put it in my pocket. I said, "Thank you, I really appreciate it." When it got to be my turn, I stepped back and I said, "You go ahead, please go ahead." She said, "Oh, no, are you sure?" I said, "Oh, I always say, my dear mother would be very upset with me if I didn't, and no, you please go ahead." She said, "Oh, thank you so much." So she went ahead of me. She had flowers and 2 other things. She gets to pay the cashier. And a guy behind me is a big, burly, muscle-bound, tough-looking, cool guy, and a couple of guys behind them. So she's ready to pay, and I said to the lady, "Hey, she butted in line ahead of me." And the guys are laughing and I'm laughing, and she went, and she looked horrified, like I accused her of murder. And I immediately said, no, I'm messing with it. I'm so sorry. And she looked like she was, and I didn't swear to God. And I said, no, I'm so sorry. and it kind of backfired. So I really felt bad that she felt that bad. And then eventually she laughed, and then she thanked me again when she left. And I thought. But I thought, one of these days, somebody's going to hit you in the face.
One of these days, you're gonna do that to a person who just needs one more thing to go wrong in their life, and they're just going to melt.
Yeah,
melt down.
Or
right
they'll
there.
say, "I can't take it anymore." Anyway.
That's why I see these videos of people that for years scare their parents or their grandparents, and they hide and they film it where they scare them. You're going to kill one of them.
Yeah, I know. I used to joke to my father, if you get any older, I got behind you one day, go, boo. So, and by the way, for the record, this is why I don't play the lottery anymore. Here were the winning numbers of the Fantasy Five. The first 4 numbers of the Fantasy Five, there's only 5 numbers. First 4 numbers. Okay. 23, 24, 26, 28. Now, come on.
Lord. Who would play that?
So that's why it's a billion to 1 you'll win it. Anyway, just for the record. Let's see. I did the boomer thing. I did the thing. Okay, let's do it. You want to do a couple of newsy things?
Sure.
We do a couple of newsy things here. I love when people get their comeuppance. Oh, wait, actually, I got to...
Comeuppance. Who says comeuppance?
Comeuppance. Oh, is that an old... I don't know who says that.
That's balderdash right there is what that is.
Sorry.
Next, you'll be saying shenanigans. Actually, shenanigan has made a comeback.
I say shenanigans all the time.
Knucklehead made a comeback a few years ago. Now shenanigans is back.
What made a comeback?
Knucklehead.
Oh, Knucklehead, yeah. Goofball. Let's see. In San Francisco, a supervisor named Hillary Ronan is now begging for more police to come into her district. My God, man, she's a Democrat. She represents the San Francisco Board District 9, a very famous area called the Mission District. Yep. And she says, we need more police. We need in the Mission District. I keep begging you people to send more people because the retailers are getting screwed. Their people are stealing everything. I've been begging you to give the Mission what it deserves for the police presence all year long. Time and time again, they tell me there's no officers we can send to the Mission District. I feel betrayed by the police department. I feel betrayed by the mayor. I feel betrayed by the priorities of this city. Well, in 2020, this same woman said, I want to make it clear that I believe strongly in defunding the police and reducing the number of officers on our force. We've had an imbalance in our budget for decades with hundreds of millions of dollars going to the San Francisco Police Department. Duh, lady, you freaking... I just love this, where they have to beg for the things they were complaining about in the first place.
Because they're idiots. And it's like California is now a lunatic asylum.
And why Governor Newsom still thinks he's going to be the leading candidate for president. Anyway, this is going to be interesting. Something happened over the weekend. I read a couple stories about it. Whoopi Goldberg. I hate her. I hate everything she stands for. She's such a phony and a fraud. And it's like, who is she to have an opinion that anybody should care about? Yeah. For the record, anyway. But she's apologized because the other day on that stupid show, which, by the way, have you ever known a more miserable group of women in one setting than those people? Just angry and hateful.
They should have a boiling cauldron right in the middle, and they should take turns stirring it.
Putting like organs in it.
And they all should share one eye and hand each other their eye.
Just nasty and just, oh my God. And she was saying there's something about, she said, well, they were talking about the so-and-so for that community. Boy, that guy really got gypped. And they were really doing the so-and-so. And now you can't say gypped.
No, you can't
because gypped, of course, refers to gypsies cheating people out of everything in their
No,
entire...
they've never done that.
Well, anyway, so now she's had to come out and do a big apology, and I think she was near tears, and she said, "I've never in my time." I said, "Give me a break. I didn't even know gypped was a bad thing until a few years ago, and all of a sudden now
said
you
way
can't...
worse on that show.
She said so
please,
many
she's
bad
a
things.
and stuff
boy.
that she hasn't apologized for
And
either.
how many Romani are there
Oh,
out there
please.
actually paying attention to what
Well,
she has said?
and by the
you
way-
you used to be able to say you could Jew somebody down. You can't do
Well,
that
we
anymore
don't. Well,
either.
that's wrong. I mean, clearly
is
that's
wrong.
different. But
I don't know if it's any different. I think it's
Well, but gypsies are cheats and thieves.
Not all of
the
them.
The entire roofing industry.
my
Ask a roofer. Ask a legitimate roofing company about gypsies
They're
going around
Mexican
doing
now.
roofing. Yeah,
who the hell's going to let a gypsy build their roof?
I'm just saying,
They live in wagons.
The gypsies are, that's what they do. That's how they make up. They're grifters.
Have you watched Peaky Blinders, Flounder?
I've seen an episode before. I don't
Because
watch
they
it.
are gyps. They're British gypsies, basically, is what
Really?
they are. Yeah.
Now, who's this?
The Peaky Blinders show on Netflix, which is you would love that show. But it's okay. Focus here. You've already done the one
Taking
video.
more pictures of Kitty is now
You need
a
to
different
focus, or I'm
position
going to
in
tell
my-
a
in
Henny
my
Youngman
jacket.
joke. Okay,
Sorry.
focus.
What's that?
Focus.
Focusing.
Show.
Anyway, I thought that was kind of bizarre.
By the way, that lady in San Francisco,
Yeah.
her last name was Ronan.
Yeah.
Well, she wouldn't need any police anyway. She does everything on her own.
Well, there you are. But I don't think it's I-N. It's R-O-N-E-N. Ronan, maybe, perhaps. Not the same as the
Ronan
famous
the-
Japanese
Ronan the
warriors. By the way, here we go. A couple of things. Oh, in fact, it reminded me, I got another thing to talk about here, which I forgot. Huge article in the Al Jazeera Constitution trying to make the way now to have Georgia make sure that they take care of transgender children who have the right to mutilate their bodies. It was a huge, big feature story. Here we go for the PR. Stop parents from allowing their children to make permanent decisions about their gender identity before they're legal adults is what the sponsor to try to stop that from happening. So they have a story of a little boy, and the mommy says the teen was looking in the same mirror. This time he was grinning. Mom says, "What are you doing?" And the mom says, "Well, a little girl says, I finally feel like Michael. I feel like me now. Michael is transgender. He's 17 now, and he sees the difference looking like a boy for the first time." So they're talking about how mothers are saying, "Oh, well, if you feel like a different gender, we shouldn't try to stop you from." I mean, it's just so creepy.
Munchausen by
Jesus.
proxy. Yeah.
I mean,
Also, the parents can be popular. That
God.
they're killing their kids.
you're not their friend. You're not their enabler. You're their guardian. I mean, whatever happened to think of parent as their guardian? No, that's wrong. You can't. I'm guarding you from being, wrong about it.
Come here.
My God. Everything is so crazy. But here we go. A huge push now publicly to have stop trying to get kids to stop mutilating themselves. Do you know a drummer named Jim Gordon?
Oh yeah, he was in Derek and the Dominoes.
Famed rock and roll session
Layla.
drummer Jim Gordon has died in custody at the age of 77.
Stole the riff from Layla.
Jim Gordon backed Eric Clapton and the Beach Boys before being diagnosed with schizophrenia and going to prison for killing his mother.
Yeah.
Gordon was a member of Derek and the Dominoes and received a writing credit for Layla.
Well, you know what? He's
Dead at
responsible
77.
for that piano. You know how it's a rock thing with guitars. All of a sudden it becomes a piano thing. For
Right,
the last half.
right.
Okay. He stole that from Rita Coolidge. That was a song that Rita had written with somebody else. They
Higher and
were
Higher.
dating, and he stole it and,
Chris
and
Christopherson
put
maybe.
it on there, and it took years for them to acknowledge it was her. Yeah.
I'll be damned. I didn't even know what that. I have no idea. By the way, speaking of chicks, I thought this was just interesting or hideous. I'm not sure which. I have the top 15 paperback bestsellers. Okay.
Of all time?
No, of this week, this month, or whatever, however often they come out. This month, I guess it is.
interesting.
Okay, here they are. Here are the names of the authors. The first names: Colleen, Lucy, Hannah, Anna, Frida, Piper, Nita, Anna, Tessa, and Ellen.
Okay. How many
Almost all are women are doing all the bestseller books.
are romance or true crime? What are they about?
I don't know. I mean,
Let me
the Paris Apartment, Icebreaker, Twisted Love, The Housemaid, Sun in its Shade, 3 Days to Live. That's James Patterson's on there. I won't read him because he loves rape.
Sounds like
Twisted
romantic.
Games, Secretly Yours, The Hotel Nantucket, Heart Bones, It Starts With Us, Never Never.
That
Anyway,
looks like romance.
but it's the bestsellers are all. I mean, it's like literally 10 or 11 or 12 out of 15 are all women all the time. If you look at the bestseller racks, it's all chicks, which is I fine, but I don't. Where's Lee Child? What's Michael Conley when you get him on your thing there? Okay. Also, I don't get this.
Okay, this is bugging me. You got a piece of white lint on your black shirt there, and it's just driving me crazy.
I do. It's a piece of paper.
Flounder.
Sorry.
Speaking of which, this is the OCD moment of the show.
Oh.
Was there an earthquake?
Yes, I know that.
Oh, he made all pictures?
Lucas hit the pictures. Okay.
Oh, my. Yeah, he's all wrapped up in my coat.
Well, because
now.
he likes the top of that couch, and I put blankets and pillows, and obviously Kimmer's jacket's up there, and he really likes it. So sometimes what he'll do is he'll kind of reach for the
Just to play with
pictures
them?
and just kind of play with them.
He identifies as a hawk.
I got this in the mail, my home address, and it's and I didn't recognize this. Huh?
It's
they're
not
not close.
crazy.
I didn't recognize this logo. It looks like F and
It's
a
Planned
heart.
Parenthood,
It's
isn't it?
Planned Parenthood.
Yeah, I recognize it.
But it's addressed to Kim Peterson, and it has my member number.
That made it worse.
I'm not a member of Planned Parenthood.
You aren't? I'm
How would I
shocked.
be a member of Planned Parenthood?
Well,
They sent
those
me an
teenage
ID
girls.
card. I've got a membership card. I've got a bumper. Look at this bumper sticker. We won't go back. A pink bumper sticker, Planned Parenthood. We won't go back.
You gotta save that and put it on somebody's car as a joke.
I mean, but again, what the nerve of these bastards? I'm not a member there. They send me this crap, and are they just swamping America with, a
Yes.
Planned Parenthood said we won't go back to not being able to get abortions?
That's right.
I mean, how freaking offensive
How
is
many
that?
millions would they lose if they couldn't do abortion?
Jesus. I mean, anyway,
I'd
I
put-
was offended by it,
Those
frankly.
are the days I used to buy rainbow stickers, decals, and put on
Other people's-
Howard Gunner's
Gunner's
car.
I love it. Have you heard about trad wives?
Trad?
Trad wives.
How do you spell that?
TRAD
Okay.
dash wives or trad.
No, I have not.
Trad wives are getting pushback from critics who say trad wives' lifestyle is alarming and creepy. Here's the deal.
All right.
Women who choose to stay at home to take care of their families and households are now fascinated with trad wives, which is short for traditional wives, and the lifestyle content they're creating for others. But a lot of negative things have happened because women want to feel like they're taking care of their families. Many people question the trad wife philosophy and why any sentiment being there would adhere to it. Many believe that it's an alarming, frightening, creepy, too good to be true alternative to life, a way to cheat your way out of hard work, a form of anti-worker activity similar to union busting, and a white supremacy concept.
Of course.
I mean, how long did that take?
Come on. We're behind everything.
How long
Kimmer.
did that take? For those who practice trad wife lifestyle are pushing back on the critics. One a trad wife from Virginia woman said, "I love this lifestyle. I feel like I've always wanted it. It's the importance of homemaking, clear gender roles, patriarchal marriage, according to women who would identify as trad wives, women who honor femininity, care for their husbands, children, and family, value the state of their home more than they do a salary, yet are not subservient," which is important to remember. She may submit to her husband, but she is not considered of lesser importance or allow herself to be in a position that threatens her right. A trad wife, a traditional woman's place is not under a man's feet, but under his wing by his side.
Or under him.
Or under him, if should he so choose.
That's the type of woman you want to meet
Exactly.
and marry and have kids with.
A little tip to the wiser ladies. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
If you want to be a career woman, that's your prerogative. It's just
Absolutely.
don't look down at women who want to do this.
No. It's stupid. And again, why would are they so threatened?
Yes.
And I guess it's because, and again, I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago where we mentioned that there was a survey that showed most single young men today, 20 to 25 years old, feel like if they're dating, it's more like a job interview, or they feel like they're trying to find where they fit in the scenario of what she wants to be able to, whatever, and
Run away.
God, honestly, I'm so glad I'm single and don't have to worry about that ever again. I mean, I miss, women. I wish I were married, but that's, but again, I'm so glad I'm not even in the world over there like that.
She could be home now unpacking my crap.
There you go, as it should be. Well, she's going to put it where she wants.
Yeah.
I mean, when's the last time?
That's what she said.
Exactly. Speaking of, this is kind of cool or creepy, one of the two. And again, I'm a little nervous about this. Okay. You may have heard the longtime pastor for formerly the Southern Baptist Convention president, Johnny Hunt is his name.
That Mike's brother.
Johnny Hunt, Mike's brother. Johnny is suing the Southern Baptist Convention for invasion of privacy and defamation. The Southern Baptist Executive Committee some time ago did an investigation into, quote, allegations of sexual misconduct and mishandling of such complaints in the denomination. After a report came out, Hunt was the First Baptist Church of Woodstock leader there for more than 30 years. He was named in the report, which came out last year. Reverend Hunt allegedly assaulted the wife of a fellow pastor in Florida 13 years ago. Hunt was never charged with a crime. The lawsuit contends Hunt had a brief, inappropriate extramarital encounter with a married woman. The encounter lasted a few minutes. It involved only kissing and some awkward fondling, unquote. That was his crime 13 years ago with a pastor's wife. It was a private failing by Pastor Johnny and the woman involved. The story should have ended there, but it didn't. Hunt was made a scapegoat for the denomination because the Southern Baptist Convention did an investigation saying, aha, we found one, and it's Johnny Hunt. And that was the object of their investigation into sexual naughtiness. Says he was made a scapegoat. And by the way, Johnny Hunt is the first Native American to serve as president of the Southern Baptist Convention. Anyway, they're trying to deflect attention from the historical failure to take aggressive steps to respond to reports of sexual child abuse and other crimes, and that's why they're singling him out. So he's suing to get back for it. So that's a little too creepy for me. Let's see. I want to talk about sports with you in a second here. Also, the text on what makes a good kisser. Now, you're old enough to remember that, right? I'll bet Flounder's not.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe he is.
We used to fight. There were three of us. We fought.
Yeah, we'll find out here in a second. Also, the grinder. Have you been watching baseball as well as the NCAA?
The World Baseball Classic has been fun as hell to watch.
Yeah. In fact, I every time I tune in, somebody hits a home run. I couldn't believe it. And that guy Trey, he's boom blam pow boy.
We had him out of the division, and now he's back in the division.
Oh man, he's going to be a killer.
He kills us with the Nationals. He killed us, and now he's back with the Phillies.
Trey Turner is that?
Yeah,
he's a killer.
He's so good.
Yeah. Anyway, I got a lot of sports to talk about. Also, the pepper grinder. Is that a thing? Have you heard about that? We'll talk about. I didn't know that was.
But I thought, wait, his name is Lars Newtbar, and he's playing for Japan.
Yeah, for Japan.
He's from the Kyoto Newt
I know.
Bars.
Well, it's a famous Kyoto Newt Bars, which we'll talk about here in a second. First of all, we have one of our fun sponsors for the Kimmer Show podcast is swapmywhip.com. Whip is a colloquial phrase for a ride, and I'm one of these guys. If I'm driving along and I see a car I've always wanted, oh man, it'd be great to have that car one day or something. And if you're the same way, you might actually find that by going to swapmywhip.com. It has like-minded car owners who don't want to deal with dealerships and used car salesmen and middlemen and things like that. And you go on to swapmywhip.com, and you may just find somebody with the car you've always wanted, or he knows somebody who has one, and you've got something his buddy, see what I mean? Do your own thing. Figure it out yourself. Have a ball just looking for it. And it's not just cars. Obviously, it's trucks, SUVs, boats, jet skis, off-road vehicles, ATVs, probably go-karts, electric scooters. I mean, whatever you're thinking of, if you can make your own deal, make your own deal and trade it in with your own swap-a-rooney. Use the coupon code KIMMER, KIMMER, for 180 days of free premium listings on swapmywhip.com. That's swapmywhip.com. Let's see. Did you see Lucky Hank last night with Bob Odenkirk?
Who?
The famous actor. We all love the show. Bob Odenkirk.
Lucky Hank.
Oh my God! I can't
What are you
believe
talking
it.
about?
What's the name of the show he did? Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Bob Odenkirk. You remember Bob Odenkirk?
Yeah.
Breaking Bad, and what was the other one?
Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul. Better Call Saul. His new show is called Lucky Hank. I can't believe you haven't seen the promos for this.
I just now got regular
I forgot.
TV.
Flounder, have you heard of the show Lucky Hank? Oh my God, I can't believe it. It's been on.
Is it any
oh
good?
my God, yeah, it's different and it's weird. He's a college professor at a mediocre college, and he says so, and they all hate him, and then it goes on about that. But it's a funny dialogue thing, and it's weird because it's produced by the same people who did The Office and his other shows, Better Call Saul, and some of the characters include the guy who guy who played the gay guy in The Office. I can't remember his name, but sort of a Puerto Rican gay guy, nice guy. He's one of the stars in the show, and also in the show is one of the guys who played in Office Space, who was the neighbor who come over to say,
yeah, he's good.
He's a great actor.
Cornhole, man.
Yeah, the cornhole, and he was also the self-defense instructor in what's the fun with him? Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
Say, he's real tall.
He was Jethro in the movie The Beverly Hills.
Yeah. Anyway, he's in it too. And by the way, there's one of the characters, and I don't think they're faking it. It's a real character physically. Is a woman who is in a wheelchair, and she's like this. I mean, she can like barely move. I mean, she's seriously like cerebral palsy affected, handicapped. I mean, it's like she can barely move. And at first I'm sorry, it's creepy, but I like her character and she's funny. But it affected me that, wow, she isn't just in a wheelchair. She's really in a wheelchair. And it was just a thing. Anyway, it's called Lucky Hank. I can't believe you guys haven't talked about it. It's unbelievable. Whatever. Oh, by the way, it's just stupid. I'm flipping around doing stuff while I'm working on a podcast, and I have my TV on in the background. And on NBC, or some channel, I forgot some channel has replays of the old Dateline NBC stories of mystery things with Keith Morrison. Do you remember who Keith Morrison? You don't remember Keith Morrison? Oh, well, it doesn't make any sense. But he was the tall, skinny, lots of white hair sticking way up, and he just now does the voiceovers for rekindling all these famous old crime trial stories from NBC. And he's the guy who
Keep going. There's a point in here somewhere. We're going to find it like a squirrel with a nut.
He's the guy who said,
I left that point here somewhere.
What did 7-year-old Johnny know that he was in for the murder or not? And whether his mother knew if he was going to come out of this alive. Tonight, the story of me, Keith Morrison. Anyway, it's just, oh, God, it's so freaking creepy. Anyway, that's it.
Kimmer's vacuous and
creepy.
bizarre TV rants brought
Yes.
to you by FarmhousePrintingCo.com.
That's our boys.
Right here in Sonoya, Georgia. No setup fees. They do hats, signs, shirts, business cards, whatever you want. No minimum order, no setup fees, as I said. Laser engraving for the tough stuff. Anything you need printed, they do it just like they do for this show and Holy Crap at Sports and Shannon Burke. FarmhousePrintingCo.com. Eric and the gang will take care of you like royalty.
They did the podcast blanket, my son-in-law's golf towel, my daughter Jennifer's T-shirts and bag of stuff. And they can put logos or things on almost anything. They're really good folks. We're going to talk sports with Pete. When's Holy Crap at Sports? Later, I'm guessing today.
Yeah, later day.
Okay.
I did not do it at midnight this morning.
Well, I don't blame you. A couple of Pete texts here over the weekend. One, Pete sent a picture to Flounder and me of two old people, and it said, "These are Lizzie Borden's parents. Do not accept messages from them. They've been hacked." Sorry. Also, Pete sent a picture, two pictures side by side. The first picture is of the beater in an electric mixer, a electric bowl mixer. Yeah. Flounder, do you even know what that is? Have you ever even seen one of those? Do you know what I'm talking about? He doesn't know what I'm talking about.
Insert in the beater.
It's a beater. It's an old electric beater. And it goes around in a bowl, and
Yeah,
the
but as a
mixers go
kid,
around.
I'd lick those.
Well,
and-
okay. The picture he sent was of two of the mixers, one that had just been mixing the chocolate, and the other one was licked clean. And the caption says, "Wow, where did you learn to kiss like that?" And the answer is, licking the mixers. And so, and I got to thinking, I always got to lick the mixer and the bowl because I was my mother's favorite
Read the
out of
rest
5.
of it.
And the rest of it says, and I wrote down to Pete, I always got to lick the mixers and the bowl because I was a favorite, as you know. And Pete said, I do. You last told that story October 4th at 2:25 p.m. It was a Wednesday. And I said, yeah, and I'm going to tell it again.
And again.
And we come
And
full
again.
circle. And I understand you got a telescope for your birthday.
I did. I got a telescope for the birthday.
Telescopes are great. I had one. I can't find it. I think someone stole
Really?
it from my storage area in Florida.
Oh, no.
But now, have you used it yet? Have you got,
Yeah, it's 14 degrees. I put
Well-
it up and walked right out there with it.
well,
No.
this afternoon. Well, of course you can't see it at night. But you got up there. You got to
As
be
soon
able
as
to
it
get
warms
some,
up, I'm going to have
incredible.
that sucker out there, though.
Yeah. Now, is it?
That'll be why I'm
it's
eaten
like
by
one of
a
the big,
bear.
like 4-foot things.
I
you're
haven't looked at it too closely yet because
You have to put it together.
Because if I put it together, then I'll take it outside and get eaten by a bear. So
Yeah.
I'm
But
going to
I
wait.
wonder, and some of those, they give you the latitude, longitude, or some code where you can dial it
I think there's a thing
into
where I
the-
can put the phone, attach the phone to it, and let it find
Really?
stuff and everything.
Oh,
that's,
my God.
that's pretty
That's-
cool.
well,
And I
that's-
also have a friend that says that he's not using his because he lives in Atlanta, so he may let me use one of his too, which means I'll have 2, which means there'll
Wow.
be no waiting. I put it on 2 different things.
I'll be damned. Yeah, I remember I'm dialing it in on the moon once and setting it there so you could just come look at the eyepiece and there's the. And
I know. Well, and
It's a-
even have a moon filter that you put on.
Really?
Because it's so
Ah,
bright.
that's cool. That is really, really cool.
I'm really looking forward to it. As soon as it, if it ever warms up.
Well, this Friday,
What?
almost 80.
Oh, really?
It's going to be 60 this week.
Well, that'll be
Wednesday it's
nice.
going to be 60, and then by Friday it's going to be
Yeah, but it's
78.
going to be this cold. It might as well snow. I mean,
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
As long as
at
it's
this
not
point.
ice. Snow, I like
No.
snow. I don't like ice, but I like snow. Okay, Holy Crap at Sports. Pete Davis coming up later on today. I have many sports things to talk about here. I swear to God, I'm going freaking crazy when I'm watching the NCAA. Now we have the Sweet 16 set, right? Is that correct? They're all set to go?
I think so.
I think it's all set. I'm watching the game. I'm trying to, there's not a lot on at this time of year, so I'm watching stuff I enjoy, which is college basketball. I don't like the pros. Watching college, every time, one player passes the ball to another player, he takes it and he's doing 3 steps
I
while he
know.
decides whether to stop or
I
not.
know.
They change their pivot foot. They palm the ball from underneath over on the top of it. I mean, I'm dying. I'm just
They all
dying.
travel.
I mean, oh my God, they're walking and traveling. They take 5 steps to go to the. I said, gee, call I can't stand it. I could have been all state if they let me palm and travel every time. My God, I mean, come on, I
You
can't
couldn't have
believe
played with
it.
Those guys, they're so much better than
Oh,
we
I
were.
know. I'm just teasing, but I can't believe it. They just get away with every freaking time. They take 3 steps when they throw them the ball. It's like 3 steps to the side. Oh God.
Calm down.
Anyway, also. Fairleigh Dickinson was one of the underdog upsetters. They beat, was it Princeton? No, Princeton
they beat
Southern.
Purdue, didn't they?
They beat Purdue. And I noticed that on going around social media, there was comments that on the sports apps after the weekend, the sports app abbreviation for the college was Fair Dick.
Or FDU or
Yeah, which they thought was kind of
FDU,
bizarre.
believe it? Did you know that they can't even afford a band? And there's
Fairleigh Dickinson?
another school there who said, "Well, we'll play for you." So they played for them.
Oh, that's
nice.
nice. I didn't see their game. I just heard about it.
They lost. They lost.
Now about this baseball thing. There's a guy named Lars Nootbaar. Nootbaar. He plays for the Cardinals,
Yes.
and he was in the World Baseball Classic in Japan. And a player
brilliant.
a player for one of the high schools in Japan twisted his 2 fists together like this, imitating this guy Nootbaar. After the kid got a hit, and the umpire said, "Stop doing that."
Yeah, they don't put up with
In
that
Japan,
shit.
you are not allowed to do any kind of celebration
You
or
can't even clench your fist.
Yeah, if you do this, they will. I don't know what they do to you, but they tell you don't. And the kid said, the kid's coach even said, "Wait a minute, it's so popular, the whole nation's talking about it. Kids are just having fun. Why do adults have to put a stop to having fun? We should be thinking more about how children can freely enjoy baseball. High school regulations curb expressions of emotions, even clenching a fist after scoring." abstain from unnecessary performances and gestures. We understand the feelings of wanting to have fun, but the Federation believes, the Japanese Federation, the fun should come from the game. Now, this guy, Nootbaar, when does he do it when he gets a hit, or is there a particular...
Here's the genius. This guy is nobody. You know, I don't know if he's going to be a
I've never
star
heard
of the
of him.
Cardinals. I noticed him because of his name.
Yeah.
It's his funny name, Lars Nootbaar. And thinking, how the hell is he on Japan? Well, his mother has Japanese ancestry, so she's not even fully Japanese herself.
Huh.
So this goes back a while. How brilliant is this guy, though? He is now a national phenomenon in Japan. He's set for life.
Yeah, probably.
How brilliant was he?
Yeah. He could probably go there if he gets cut by the Cardinals.
Yeah, he'll play there in a
Bingo.
heartbeat.
Yeah. Wow.
That's where Trevor Bauer's playing.
Yeah. Oh, is that right?
Yeah, he signed over there. Nobody.
For God's
if he isn't
sake.
suing MLB,
How is it possible he's not going? He's not suing him in Major
I
League
don't
Baseball?
know why he's not. I really don't. I mean, to me, they're keeping him out of doing his
She
profession.
wanted to be beat up. She said, I want you to hurt me and knock me out. So he did, and now she's suing, and now he's lost his job?
I know. I wish the Braves had gotten him. I'm sorry. I wish he had.
Guys, if she wants you to rough her up, you better get it on video. It's not enough where you got it in her text message.
Well, we talked about that show. We
Jesus.
talked about it on Amazon. But in the future, and not in a few years, before you have sex, you're going to have two little video cameras, and you're going to say, "Okay, I agree for this, and I don't agree to do that."
Was it James Brown who would get a selfie? It was some famous rock and
Chuck
roller.
Berry.
Chuck Berry. Maybe that was. I think maybe it was Chuck Berry. After
he
he got
would
caught
film-
peeping Tom
he
in it
would
that one
film.
time. That was a kinky bastard. Okay, speaking of sports, this was incredible. If you didn't hear this, I mean, if I were in charge of the Republican National Committee and Carmela Sidepiece, the shiftless vice president, actually decides to run or be on the ticket again, I would play every one of her embarrassing sound bites like the following you're about to hear. When during the NCAA tournament, when was it Temple? No, what's the black college in Washington? Not
Georgetown.
No, it wasn't Georgetown. It was I can't remember. Well, I thought it was. I can't
What are
remember.
you talking about?
Anyway, she was at the game and her team lost, and so here's the vice president's side piece in the locker room. Tell me what you think about the way she addressed these 20, 21-year-old men after they lost their NCAA college basketball championship run. Here's Vice President.
Here she is.
Here we go.
Here we are.
Some volume and action.
You played hard. You played to the very last second. You made all us Bisons so proud. You hustled out there. You are smart. You are disciplined. You put everything you had into the game. And you know, that's what it's about, right? Until the last minute. You guys did that. You didn't stop until the last second. You did not stop. And that is so inspiring. So you keep playing with chin up and shoulders back. Because you showed the world who Bison are.
Well, that was
Right?
the team's. I forgot who the college.
I mean, literally what you have done is in historic proportion.
Anyway, I can't.
Yeah, I was at
she went on
Howard.
for like 3 minutes. She sounds like she's talking to 7-year-olds in her first kickball contest.
Okay,
God.
I'll be honest, it's not as bad as I thought it would be, but it's
Oh, it
pretty
goes
bad.
on.
If it went on for 3 minutes, I'd be killing myself.
I mean, it goes on about how don't forget these moments. I'm like, oh, jeez.
The only Bison I know is like North Dakota or
No,
something.
it was a Washington team because she didn't fly to North Dakota. She was right there, so it was somewhere in the D.C. area. That was Temple or what's
No,
the?
I went Temple.
Well, there's some. Isn't there a black college in there somewhere? I don't know.
In the basketball?
Yeah, I don't. Maybe not. Whatever. Now, Flounder, do you have a little the master something?
Howard.
Howard University. Howard,
let's
that's what it
see.
was. I told you.
Everybody says Howard.
Thank you so much. I knew. I'm vindicated.
they're
I'm
the-
vindicated.
Howard's
Temple, Howard. What's the difference?
How did they get Bison at Howard?
I don't know. But again, I mean, how insulting and just you would think that a woman anybody who's the vice president of the United States would be more comfortable addressing a crowd in a ceremony of any kind of a message before the public as vice president of your country. She sounds like she's in 4th grade giving her first speech to the speech class.
Show and tell.
Oh God, what is the matter with her?
That's how far we've fallen. This is how far our republic has fallen.
He wanted a black female as vice president, and he
matter.
got one.
Didn't
who
matter.
was so unpopular, she never got a vote.
I know.
She dropped out before the first primary because everybody hated her. God almighty. I just... Okay, now, the Masters is next week.
Really?
The Masters is
Why
next
didn't you
week.
take off the week so we can sit at home and watch the Masters?
Or maybe it's the week after. Hold on. No, that's not right.
It's
That's
the
not
8th.
right.
It starts the 8th, I think.
Yeah, it starts the week we come back, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
But here's how weird. But during football season, they do the promos for the Masters. You go, God, that's a year away. What the hell are they doing that for? And here it is.
Here
Boom,
we are.
It's here.
Yeah. Well, it's almost April.
I know. I've
mean,
lost this year.
slow down or something. I mean,
I've lost this year.
Wow. Anyway, this was amazing to me. If you're again, this is mostly for golf fan people, or especially Masters fan people. We're gonna play. We have like about 20 seconds or so there, Flounder of some kind. Did you do the whole thing? Here's a promo for the Masters tournament coming up, and the video. You can't see it, of course, on the radio, but the video, if you can Google it, the video is a lot of women. A lot of black women, a lot of seriously like African garb and cornrows, and a lot of females and black people. And there's one expression which you have never, ever, ever heard in relationship to the Masters, which you are hearing for the first time officially today. Flounder, if you would, here's the promo.
Heck, even the winner gets dressed up for the occasion.
Yes,
The players, the caddies, the crowd, the course, the dog woods, the dog
The
legs.
crowd. The crowd. You're not allowed to say the crowd at the Masters. Remember, Gary McCord got banned from being on CBS television. Got a call from the Masters when anybody would say, "Boy, look at those crowd. The people in the crowd are going crazy," and they were banned because the word "crowd" is not allowed on the Masters telecasts ever. They have to call them patrons. Remember that? All you've ever heard, well, the patrons are very excited about this today, the patrons. And now for the first time, social media was going, and the golf people are going nuts, that they're now officially using the word the crowd at the Masters and showing, black women celebrating with...
How many black women you see at the Masters?
Yeah,
no, they want to go. They're there.
They've gone diversity and equity and inclusion.
Why do we feel as white people that we have to tell black people what they should be doing?
I know.
If black women want to go to the Masters, then they'll make it
Have a
where they
ball.
go to the
Yeah,
Masters.
exactly.
We don't need to be telling, this is where you should be.
It's not a thing.
Yeah.
They're making it a thing, and it's not a thing.
And they make a big deal about NASCAR. I was watching the AMS race. I have no idea what was going on. I know that Logano won or what. However, I don't know how he did it. But every time they showed the crowd, there was a hell of a lot of black people in the crowd.
Of course.
Freezing their ass off,
Yeah.
I might add.
Yeah.
But
I know. I mean, it's a damnedest thing. It's just they're trying. Yeah,
Why are we
everybody's
forcing
trying to
people?
make something. It's not a thing.
it's like we have to have more blacks playing baseball. What if blacks don't want to play baseball? What if they want to play football and basketball right now? Why are we forcing them to do
we
this?
can't. We have to have the equation. It's not. We need more black hockey players. There's like 2 stars, and everybody else is all white.
They may need more.
By the way, speaking of you Democrats, I'm abbreviating the story here today. Today's
it's
bad
story
day.
time.
Bad day in history.
Story time for the Kimmer.
Bad day in history day today. And again, you Democrats saluting your leaders. At the time in 1919 on this day, rumors were rife around the naval base at Newport, Rhode Island, that certain sailors were consorting inappropriately, not with the ladies of the town, but with each other. A court of inquiry was held, and on this day in 1919, it concluded that the government must devote any expense and time necessary to conduct a most thorough and searching investigation made by a corps of highly experienced investigators. And who would the intrepid fact-finders be? Why, other sailors, of course. As the head of the investigation noted, a good-looking man, somewhere between 19 and 24, would be best suited for this class of undercover work with references to perverts, unquote. It wouldn't be enough for the young men recruited for the sting operation to simply infiltrate the gay underground in the Navy and identify their wayward fellows. They were instructed to provide positive proof by actually engaging with the targeted men intimately. after Assistant Secretary of the Navy and future President Franklin Delano Roosevelt signed off on the scheme, the young operatives took to their task with patriotic zeal. Yes, the sailors they netted were then court-martialed, and with the secret agents providing lurid testimony of their encounters. A popular local minister was busted as well. They went into the Newport civilian community, as it turns out. Then there was a series of official hearings not concerning the sailors, but culminating in a Senate investigation about the methods the superiors used to root them out. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, you big Democrat hero, was sharply rebuked for his part in what the investigating committee called a most deplorable, disgraceful, and unnatural proceeding. The New York Times reported with a blazing headline, "Lay Navy Scandal to F.D. Roosevelt. Details are unprintable." Anyway, that was your Navy in 1919.
Would they know that would be used like to get your enemy or something?
Well,
you just accuse them of something?
Yeah, well, that's the whole theory about have gay sex is illegal in the Navy for blackmail.
Well, you know what Churchill said? What runs the British Navy?
Rum and
sodomy, and the lash.
And the lash.
Which is brought to you by
Yes.
this question. Are you tired of arriving to surprises at your weekend cabin?
I can't help it.
Have a mountain home you're having trouble maintaining? Well, call North Georgia Intendancy. We can manage your North Central Georgia vacation, weekend, or rental house so you can relax at yours. Visit us at ngaintendancy.com or call 770-595-6664, 770-595-6664. They'll make sure that none of those Navy personnel
That's right,
are in
my
your
friend.
cabin.
It will take care of it for you. Get in touch. My birthday list has something on there that I'm totally messed up about. David Thewlis is on the birthday list, 60 years old.
Yes.
David Thewlis, if you look at his face, isn't he the guy who played that freaky head of the underground in the Takeoff series of not Better Call Saul, but the other one that was.
What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, the explaining today is a little off.
I know. Okay.
It has an adjective and a noun.
No, it's the peak, the two comedians, Peak
two
and Dale, or
two
whatever,
comedians.
the two
Sounds
black
like-
guys. Who are the two black guys?
Key and Peele.
Key and Peele. They were in a series playing FBI agents.
Fargo.
In
Yes.
one of the Fargo series, remember the weird guy who
Yes.
showed his teeth all the time, and he was on the bathroom all
Yes.
the time. And okay, isn't that guy?
I
Isn't
think
that
that's
him?
David Thewlis. Yeah, he was also Ares in the first Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah, but
He's
I
been
looked
in 1,000
I
things.
saw his face, and I said, "That's the guy." But I looked up his bio, and that's not in there.
He's in Harry Potter. I think it was him.
Maybe it was, but that's him in Fargo. That was one of the spin-off Fargo,
Yeah, I think
one
that
of
was
the
him.
series they did. But
He's a
and
good
that
actor.
was creepy as hell, man.
he's
But
a
he was a
creepy
great actor.
He really is.
Creepy. My number one Sports Illustrated model, number one babe, was not Christy Brinkley. It was Kathy Ireland.
Yeah.
And then who was the one after Christy
Elle
Brinkley?
McPherson?
No. The other one, I can't remember. Another blonde.
Angie?
No.
Blonde?
It was one right after, what's her name? Anyway, Kathy Ireland is 60 years old today. And she's an entrepreneur, businesswoman. She has TV shows and stuff. Very, very clever woman and just a knockout. Holly Hunter, little Georgia gal, 65 years old today. Holly Hunter, of course, in The Firm, broadcast news. She won an Oscar for the movie The Piano and never said a word. I never saw the movie, but I didn't. So I don't know why. Was she a sign language thing? Was that the kid who was like?
Maybe she was deaf, and it was the kid that,
I think it was the
that
kid
turned
who
out
was-
to be Spider-Man's girlfriend. What was her name? The blonde.
Oh yeah.
What's her name?
With the funny
Flounder?
teeth, big head and funny teeth. I like her.
Kirsten Dunst.
Dunst.
Kirsten
Yeah,
Dunst.
Kristen
I
Dunst. Kirsten Dunst.
And she was in the that Tom
She's-
Cruise, Brad Pitt vampire movie too.
She was in the Spider-Man movie. She was also in the cheerleader movie. She was in the
Well, she was huge in broadcast news and The Firm. She was great. Spike Lee, 66 today. Teresa Russell,
Oh yeah.
hot chick actress. I called her Slinky and Sultry, man.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Teresa Russell's 66. I think she was in. Was it the one with the girl in?
Oh Lord.
Here we go.
The girl with she had a face.
The girl
face,
with the guy
legs.
who was accused of having the gerbil. Richard Gere was in a movie with a girl.
You're thinking about Diane Lane.
No. It was the sailor movie where he's the fighter pilot in boot
Officer
camp.
and Gentleman?
Officer and a Gentleman.
No,
the
that
girl
was-
in Officer and a Gentleman.
No, that's not her.
The girl, I know, but the girl in Officer and Gentleman is.
Turbs, I don't know.
Oh, come on.
Deborah Winger.
Deborah Winger. And Deborah Winger was in the movie with Teresa Russell when Teresa Russell was like a murderer going after her, and Deborah Winger was a reporter trying to out her as a killer. There you are. Okay, I brought it home. How proud I am. Bobby Orr, 75 years old, famous Hall of Famer hockey. Probably the best defensive,
Definitely
famous
the best
defensive ever
and
in
some
history.
people say better than Gretzky.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hal Linden, Barney Miller, whatever. Hal Linden, actor thing, 92 today. Pat Riley, coach. Is he still coaching?
No.
Pat Riley's still going. Pat Riley's 78. And William Hurt died last year. Recently, he would have been 73 today, just for the record. A couple of history notes, if you don't mind. 1922, the U.S. Postmaster ruled that from now on, in 1922, and this day, all houses must have a mailbox, or you're not getting your mail. 1969, you may not get your mail anyway.
Sounds reasonable.
What's new? And now they actually have them blocked. You can't use the blue post office drop boxes at post offices because they keep getting robbed. They actually block them off.
I know, you've told us.
I'm sorry. John Lennon, on this day, 1969, got married again to a Japanese avant-garde artiste and musician known as Yoko Ono. They staged a bed-in for peace in Amsterdam, but they were going to try to pull the same stunt in America, and they were not allowed in the country.
There's that famous photo of them in their pajamas.
Yeah, in bed.
Standing next to the bed, waiting for the maid to make it up.
Yeah, and was that the same? What was the album where they were naked? Right? And he showed his God. 1976, the famous picture of kidnapped heiress Patty Hearst carrying a gun, and known now as Tanya, was part of the bank robbery with her Symbionese Liberation Army kidnappers, and on this day she was convicted, 1976. 1992, Janice Pennington was awarded more than $1 million after she was hurt during an accident on the TV show The Price is Right with Bob Barker. Now, Bob Barker, I was getting confused for a second. Her name was Janice Pennington, the model who sued and won money. Bob Barker was accused of having an affair with a model on the show named Diane Parkinson, not Pennington. I almost got him confused. Having an affair, and it was a big to-do about it. He said, hell, I'm 75 years old, I'm a widow, and we did it willingly. It was like he raped her. Yeah, what's a big freaking deal? But he got into a big thing about it. And, of course, I do have a story from my Bob Barker experience, but I told it 26 years ago, and I told it around 7 years ago, so obviously I can't tell my Bob Barker story. 1996, that nobody would want to hear. 1996, because once you tell a story, Eric and Lyle Menendez were found guilty. See, you wouldn't want to, repeat. 1996. I'm not going to tell it now.
I'm sorry, Cameron. That's the truth or consequences of the situation.
Thank you. Oh, no. 1996. Eric and Lyle Menendez were found guilty of first-degree murder for shotgunning their parents and going on a spending spree. On their first trial, they were found, it was either a deadlocked jury or they're found innocent. And they were recharged or something. But the first trial, they got away with it. Yeah. And then they were complaining that they were orphans. I feel sorry for it. We're orphans.
We're self-made orphans.
Yeah. And they started buying, Rolls Royces. God. 1997, the Liggett Tobacco Company, makers of Chesterfields, settled lawsuits admitting they were marketing cigarettes to children and agreed to put warnings on every pack that a cigarette is addictive. And I used to smoke Chesterfields because my dad did for a while until I found Lucky Strike. And then I switched immediately and became a 4-pack-a-day Lucky guy.
Lucky Strike, man.
4 packs a day of Lucky Strikes.
Tasted that much better that you just switched?
LSMFT, loose straps mean flat. No, I mean, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Okay. And I used to love those. And I got a pack from my buddy Mike Summers, who used to work with, and he sent me a pack of Luckies and a Zippo lighter. And one of these days, in fact, if I start smoking again, I'm going to do it live on a podcast. Just for the hell of it.
He can let you smoke in here.
Yeah. Well, I guess you'd have to wait till I took the first puff. And I could put it out just
There's
for the
never
record.
been any smoke in this house.
I
young
know.
man.
Well, it's smoke free. You could have surgery in here.
Exactly. Now on the back porch is a
I
different
would go on
story.
the back porch. Anyway, I don't know.
All right, it's time for bad dad jokes. You ready?
Bad dad joke. And by the way, have you seen? There's a study just came out a few days ago. It might have been over the weekend. There's actually a study, and it said you could Google it. I'm not making this up. And it said dad jokes are actually good for children to learn how to communicate with their fathers on a way that gets them to break ice and be more of a thing together with them, communicating like they would with their moms and stuff. And it was actually a study. You've been doing your dad jokes, and they are good for families to have dad jokes
love
for the
dad
kids.
jokes.
And vice versa on the kids. I used to love to tease my girls too.
I can't take my friend's dog to the park anymore. Kimmer.
Why is that?
Well, the ducks keep biting him.
Really biting him.
We should have known. He's a purebred.
Pure bread, biting the bread for the, oh God, dear God. By the way, who didn't take their kids to the pond to go feed ducks bread? I mean, we did it. Everybody's fed bread to the ducks, haven't you? Have some
You're not
in your life?
supposed to, though. It's not good for
Well,
them.
we didn't know that in 1958.
All right, I got one for you.
All right.
What do you call friends you like to eat with?
Let's see. Partners.
Taste buds.
Taste
Taste
buds.
buds.
There you are. Taste buds.
By the way, Fairleigh Dickinson's director of media relations is a junior at the university. He looks like a 12-year-old kid all dressed in a suit and tie
Director of
there.
their community. Oh my God.
And so Tim Brando says, get this kid some NIL money.
That's funny.
That's
Oh, he'll
funny.
probably get some now.
Henny Youngman.
Oh, take my wife, please. Yeah.
Famous Jewish comedian.
Right.
Well, he kind of lived up to some stereotypes here. He, was probably a rich man at the end because he like Rodney Dangerfield, he
You have
became humongously
Yeah.
popular in his old age,
Yeah.
right? He would basically consult the daily directory in the lobby of the hotel he would play in and see what parties were going on in the banquet rooms, usually a bar mitzvah if he could find one. He would go up to the room and ask to speak to whoever was paying for the affair. I'm Henny Youngman. I was playing a date in another room here, and one of the waiters suggested you might want me to do my act at your gathering. I can do it if we could work something out in cash.
Oh, my God.
So for either $200, $500, whatever, he would do his act. He'd basically do that.
It's a great idea, but it's so
It's brilliant.
cheesy.
It's
But it's a
brilliant.
great idea.
Roger Ebert said he rode up in an elevator once with him, and Henny Youngman was taping a TV show at the Merchandise Mart in New York where they filmed NBC shows. We got an elevator. It stopped at the second floor, which was a private club. A wedding was underway. Henny Youngman got off the elevator, asked to meet the father of the bride, and said, I'm Henny Youngman. I'll do 10 minutes for $100.
Oh my God.
That's an entrepreneur, ladies and
Well,
gentlemen.
hell, we'll do a routine at your house for $100. Call us up. We'll be over there.
What did we say? We got to have someone come in and sit with us? How
Yeah,
much
you have
did
to
we say?
pay for the privilege of
$300?
sitting here to watch our show. $300.
$300. Just sit on that
piece.
couch.
That's
piece.
right.
Sit on
We
that
may not
couch.
talk to you. You can play with a cat if he'll play with you.
We'll ask you a
You
few
can wear
questions.
my jacket. You can.
We may even kick you out.
You can laugh in the
You
background.
can laugh
if
and
you want.
applaud. You can bring a whistle. You can, bring refreshments.
Just don't talk, don't stare, and don't look.
That's
Yeah,
right.
don't look at us.
$300.
Sad news
piece.
here. Jack Holder has died.
I don't know Jack Holder.
Jack Holder was the last surviving person off the USS Arizona.
Oh, that's right. I did hear about that of the Pearl Harbor attack.
Later became a World War II flyer, flew 100 missions, more than that, Pacific and Europe.
Wow.
He was 101, and I swear he looks just like Clint Eastwood.
Boy, he does look like Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood in 10 years will look like that guy. Wow.
Unbelievable.
God bless him.
And
He's guarding Heaven's Gate right now.
Yeah. By the way, over the weekend, the AMS race, it reminded me, me and Wayne went down there and raced
Oh,
those
I
little
saw the
cars.
little go-kart things.
Yeah, I saw those
was
pictures.
that? Was that for the race down there? AMS?
It was
or
the night before.
was it
before,
for the
I think.
Speedway having a
Well,
thing?
They
I
do
forgot.
different races, and they did,
Yeah.
and they bring semi-celebrities down there to
There's
race
little
each
midget
other.
cars and stuff. And,
I get down there. It's hot as hell. He squeezes these cars. We start them up. Mine won't start. Well, there's Wayne doing loops and all that. And we sat there for 15 minutes. They finally got it started. Okay, it's time to do the race. It's like, wait a minute. I had no practice. He smoked me.
Oh, of course
he
he
had the
did.
gears down. He smoked me. So about the second lap, I'm going, I ain't going to win this. So I just stuck it in third and just floored it and kept spinning out on the loops.
I love
and I
it.
went through the grass. They were not happy.
Not happy with a grant. No, they were not happy.
They were not happy about that.
All
All right. Well, so we got. Okay. I pulled a muscle while panning for gold.
Oh no.
It was a minor injury.
A minor injury.
I sued the airline company for losing my luggage.
Yeah, lost your luggage.
Unfortunately, I lost the case.
It lost the case. It's your casing of your.
And I don't know if you've noticed recently, but
Yeah.
everyone has pretty much decided
Yeah.
that the coronavirus came from the lab. It leaked
Yeah.
from the lab.
Obviously, yeah.
Everybody but the mass media.
Yeah.
Because I've seen stories from
I know.
Reuters and NBC the
I
last
saw
week.
more evidence that came from a bat. And
No,
crossed over from a-
no. The bat. No one's buying the bat anymore.
I know.
Now it's raccoon dogs.
Not only that,
Oh,
Raccoon
raccoon
dogs.
dogs.
there's a video of Fauci going to some inner city neighborhood, knocking on doors,
Oh, I've seen that.
and he comes out, and the guy starts. They're talking about vaccinations and stuff like that, and the guy just goes off on him.
Great. Well, here's another thing from PBS. Now, PBS is, they all get the memo. Got to get it
Yeah.
off the lab leak.
Yep.
Genetic evidence gives support to theory COVID originated in the market. They're trying to put the market thing back. And
Yeah.
there was a raccoon dog in the market that
Yeah,
did
the
it.
wet market. Yeah. Yep. Where the bats were flying around.
This
yeah.
is how stupid they think we are. They keep doing
Well, we are that stupid.
Yeah, okay.
Because the press is going to, and again, once you have the media and the government all in one thing, and big tech to make sure it doesn't leave, that's the ball game.
Canada's new space agency logo is very Canadian.
Yeah, like a maple leaf of some kind, or
Something like that.
Yeah.
In other news, Canada has a space agency.
since when? It's a Canada.
All right, Steven has a question.
All right.
Who would win a drinking competition,
Yeah.
Godzilla or my neighbor Bigfoot? I'm thinking Godzilla's got him.
I think Godzilla's.
He's a
probably-
little bigger on
yeah.
that, something like that. Okay. Oh, no, that's something else. We already did it. All right, that's it. That's all I had.
Okay.
Okay, well, Flounder finds
Find
our
out if I
Bad
find a little
Takes Theater.
cowabunga of some kind.
I will give you your truly tasteless joke of the day.
All right, sir.
If you're Italian, you need to
Uh-oh.
turn off the show right now.
Yep.
And this is, I just opened the book
You
randomly.
didn't pick this on
I
purpose.
did not pick this on purpose. What should a woman dating an Italian have with her at all times?
Pepper spray? I don't know. I'm just a gun.
The rape hotline number.
I swear it's Australians. I swear I read that Australian
they're all
men are
pussies
the
now.
worst number
no,
one.
not anymore. They're pussies now. They let them take their guns. They let them put them in camps for a flu.
This
They're
was back
pussies.
in the 90s. I remember being on the air in the 90s and being flabbergasted because there was like an actual, World Health study or something saying if you date a guy from Australia, you're going to have sex that night whether you like it or not. I mean, that's what it amounted to. Famous for, we'll see about that. What do you
where are
mean
we,
no?
Flounder?
What's this no crap?
March 6th, dating in 2022.
All right, there's a woman in bed and there's a man in bed.
Oh,
the
my.
man's looking very pensive. The woman's looking arms crossed, very disappointed.
Uh-oh.
Are you the man or the woman?
I'll give you the punchline. I'll be the woman.
All right.
Babe, a tiny penis isn't such a big deal.
I don't know, Jenny. I kind of wish you didn't have one at all.
It's like the guy and his wife are in bed together, and he says, "Why do you keep, rubbing my things right before you go to sleep?" And she says, "Well, it's because I miss mine so much." All right, final thoughts, boys. TheKimmerShow.net. If you could help us with a little something.
All
we
things
would be
Kimmer at thekimmershow.net.
There you go. All right. God bless America. And I don't even practice. Herp and a hoop.
We have a request for the Bob Barker story. We're out of time.
Oh.